Arsenal's Champions League dream hangs by a thread after that 1-0 defeat to PSG. Can the Gunners rewrite the script in Paris when their passing accuracy hit rock bottom, their worst this season? I've analysed every semi-final comeback in Champions League history, and there's a clear blueprint for what Arsenal must do. Specific pressing patterns, attacking width adjustments, and player-to-player matchups could transform their fortunes. The tactical shifts involving their midfield and defensive line positioning will be crucial. The mental approach that successful comeback teams have historically mastered, the intensity, timing, and psychological warfare, it all starts right here. The first leg at the Emirates revealed several tactical vulnerabilities that Arsenal will need to address to overcome their deficit in Paris. Most glaring was their inability to establish rhythm in possession, with first-half passing accuracy in the opposition half plummeting to a season-low 64.9%. This represents a fundamental breakdown of Arsenal's attacking mechanism, preventing them from creating the sustained pressure they typically generate. PSG's pressing system deserves credit for this disruption. Their strategically aggressive approach forced Arsenal into rushed decisions, cutting off passing lanes and isolating key playmakers. The Gunners found themselves attempting more speculative passes than usual, surrendering possession in dangerous areas and inviting counterattacks. The match's trajectory changed dramatically with Dembélé's fourth-minute strike. The goal exposed Arsenal's defensive organisation like a crack in a fortress wall. When Kvaratskhelia found Dembélé with that incisive pass, Arsenal's backline was caught in transition, neither fully committed to pressing high nor properly settled into a defensive block. This tactical failing immediately forced Arsenal to abandon their preferred approach. Without a traditional centre-forward, Arsenal's attack functioned like an engine missing a critical component. Their attack lacked the necessary focal point to challenge PSG's compact defensive structure. The absence of a physical presence in the penalty area meant Arsenal couldn't effectively hold up play under pressure or provide the aerial threat needed to capitalise on crossing opportunities. Consequently, their attacks became predictable, intricate but ineffective build-up play that PSG comfortably contained. Moving to another vulnerable area, PSG deliberately exploited Arsenal's right flank. Kvaratskelia's positioning consistently created dangerous overloads, forcing Arsenal's right-sided defenders into difficult decisions. When defenders shifted over, spaces opened elsewhere. When they didn't, PSG created numerical advantages, generating penetrating attacks. This systematic targeting suggests PSG identified a specific weakness in Arsenal's defense. Furthermore, Arsenal failed to capitalize on PSG's documented struggles with set pieces in Ligue 1 this season. Against a team with known vulnerabilities defending corners and free kicks, Arsenal's inability to generate meaningful chances from these scenarios eliminated a significant attacking weapon. Can these issues be remedied in just 1 week? Arsenal must improve their passing accuracy to at least 80% completion rate in PSG's half, adapt to PSG's pressing with quicker ball movement, and implement a more effective strategy for handling PSG's left-sided attacks. Additionally, Arsenal must develop targeted set-piece routines designed to exploit PSG's aerial weaknesses. The tactical adjustments required are extensive, but achievable with focused preparation. Arsenal possesses the technical capability to overcome these challenges, but will Arteta's men find the tactical fortitude to execute under the intense pressure of the Parc des Princes? While tactics frame the contest, individual battles will ultimately decide Arsenal's Champions League fate. The numbers tell a startling story. Arsenal's attacking stars create 2.3 more big chances per game in domestic competition than they managed against PSG, revealing a performance gap that must be closed by specific players stepping up in Paris. Martin Ødegaard and Bukayo Saka's influence was severely diminished at the Emirates. Arsenal's creative duo, who averaged a combined 4.7 key passes per Premier League match, managed just one between them against PSG. The Norwegian captain, whose mesmerizing through ball unlocked Manchester City's defense just 2 weeks ago, found himself constantly shadowed, unable to find the half spaces where he typically thrives. Ødegaard must escape PSG's attention in Paris, potentially through quicker ball movement or positional interchanges with teammates. The potential return of Thomas Partey represents a transformative opportunity for Arsenal's midfield. His availability would reshape the Gunners' engine room, providing technical security under pressure that was noticeably absent in the first leg. Partey's return would unlock Declan Rice from the defensive shackles that restricted his influence at the Emirates. Without Partey, Rice was forced deeper, nullifying the box-to-box dynamism that makes him such a complete midfielder. Rice's performance in the first leg embodied Arsenal's broader struggles. His defensive responsibilities limited his forward influence, creating a ripple effect throughout the team. This stands in contrast to his commanding display against Real Madrid in the quarter-finals, where his balanced positioning allowed him to contribute significantly to both defensive and attacking phases. Rice's forward passes dropped by 37% compared to his season average, reflecting his constrained role. Partey's presence would also enable Arteta to deploy Mikel Merino in a more advanced position, potentially as a false nine, a tactical adjustment that could provide Arsenal with a different attacking dimension to break down PSG's defensive structure. In defence, the battle between Arsenal's centre-backs and PSG's attack is like a high-stakes chess match, where a single misstep could prove fatal. Arsenal's central defenders must maintain their concentration throughout 90 minutes in Paris. PSG's potential absence of Ousmane Dembélé due to a hamstring injury could reduce the French side's attacking threat. With 8 goals and 11 goal involvements in the Champions League, his pace caused Arsenal consistent problems. The set-piece battle represents another decisive area. Despite PSG's vulnerability from dead ball situations, nearly a third of their Ligue 1 goals conceded have come from set pieces. Arsenal failed to capitalise in the first leg. David Raya's distribution under pressure will be another critical factor. His ability to bypass PSG's press could create transition opportunities that weren't present at the Emirates. For Arsenal to advance, they need a hero, but which star will rise to the occasion when everything is on the line? Beyond tactics and individual brilliance, the greatest hurdle facing Arsenal at the Parc des Princes will be the mental challenge. The statistics paint a daunting picture. PSG has converted 85% of their first-leg advantages into progression when playing the decisive match on home soil. This psychological weight crushes visiting teams under the Parisian lights, creating an atmosphere that resembles a pressure cooker waiting to explode. The psychological dimension carries extra significance for this Arsenal squad. After 16 years without reaching this stage of Europe's premier competition, most of Arteta's players find themselves navigating uncharted territory. The semi-final of the Champions League introduces a unique pressure that can't be simulated in training or domestic competitions. The absence of collective experience at this level creates a vacuum where doubt can flourish, especially when trailing. Arsenal's history of faltering at critical moments makes Wayne Rooney's assessment particularly resonant. Speaking from his wealth of European knockout experience, Rooney observed on Amazon Prime.
Well, I think Arsenal are used to that over the years. They get to a certain stage of the season and things fall away, and that's not...
His prescription was equally direct.
The belief that they can win. Arsenal need to be ready for a real hostile atmosphere. They have to be patient, they have to slow the game down at the right times, take the ball at the right times, and then when they get the chances, be clinical. That's the only way they'll win over them.
The history of Champions League comebacks offers a fascinating psychological blueprint. Barcelona's historic remontada against PSG saw them overturn a 4-0 first-leg deficit with a breathtaking 6-1 victory at Camp Nou. Players performing with supernatural conviction even when logic suggested defeat. Liverpool's miracle against Barcelona transformed a 3-0 disadvantage into triumph through sheer collective will. These teams maintained unwavering conviction, even when probability suggested defeat was inevitable. What connects these comebacks is a peculiar psychological state, a paradoxical combination of urgency without panic, discipline without restraint, and optimism without delusion. They established an early foothold, creating a psychological shift that transferred pressure onto the leading team. The significance of scoring first cannot be overstated. Securing an early goal dramatically alters the psychological landscape. When a trailing team equalizes the aggregate score early in the second leg, momentum swings violently, introducing doubt into the minds of the previously comfortable leaders. Mikel Arteta's leadership becomes central here. His preparation must extend beyond tactical instructions to psychological framing. The Arsenal manager needs to construct a narrative that balances acknowledging the challenge while instilling absolute belief. An often overlooked aspect of these comebacks is the liberation that comes with being written off. When expectations diminish, the freedom to play without fear often produces extraordinary performances. Will Arsenal's underdog spirit overcome the weight of history at the Parc des Princes? Their season's journey suggests that they have the technical abilities. But do they possess the collective mental fortitude when facing adversity in an environment designed to break it? The faith within Arsenal's camp speaks volumes. Both Arteta and Raya believe we can win against any team, with their Bernabeu performance proving their capability. Paris offers a defining moment. Victory at Parc des Princes would announce Arsenal's return to Europe's elite, a challenge made steeper by PSG's intimidating home atmosphere, where they've claimed 4 Premier League scalps this campaign. The second leg will test Arsenal's technical intelligence and mental resilience simultaneously. Their response will shape this season and potentially their future trajectory. Can Arsenal summon the character needed to overcome one of Europe's most formidable home sides?